Hello and welcome to Tech Support by RD. Now, I'm making this video as sort of a milestone video, first for the channel, but also something personal and the whole motivation behind today's tutorial. First, we've reached the 100 subscriber count. Here we are. To everyone who has watched the videos, to all our subscribers, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thanks for leaving a like. Thanks for leaving insightful comments saying that the videos have helped you in some way, or leaving some comments about additional questions you may have. All this engagement is a really great sight to see on the channel. So thanks for your support. Another milestone is I'm graduating tomorrow. And because of that, my Google account that was issued by my university will be deactivated soon. So I have to download all of my files off of it before it gets deactivated. So yeah, to celebrate those two milestones, let's do a tutorial on how to export your files or Google Drive data from Google Drive, or really any form of data from Google services. Doesn't matter if you have a Google Workspace account like the one I have issued by my university. Your account could be issued by your company or your firm or what have you, or your business, or if you have a personal Google account, a gmail.com address. This tutorial also works for you. Now in this tutorial, I'm only going to explain how to export Google Drive data, but as we go along, I'm going to explain how this can be applied to other forms of data from Google as well. So without further ado, let's do this. So I have here in another tab my data and privacy section of my Google account settings. You can access this at myaccount.google.com, and if you scroll down, scroll all the way down, you'll have the option to download or delete your data. So we want to download our data, so we'll hit download. This will take us to Google Takeout. Oh, by the way, there's a nifty shortcut for you. If you want to go to Google Takeout directly, visit this URL, takeout.google.com. And as a bonus, I'm going to put this link in the video description for you. Once you arrive at Google Takeout, it's going to show us our exports if we have any. I've exported my files before last May 23, but if this is your first time, you might not be able to see something in this section. Now, the one we want is right below it, the option to create a new export. So here we get to choose which Google services we want to take out or export. Now, you'll notice that almost everything is selected by default except for Access Log Activity. This is because Access Log Activity may take a while to process because there's a lot of stuff in it. Now, we want to select Google Drive. We don't need any of these, but if you want something, you can check them off or you can select them all. Up to you. So rather than unchecking each of these checkboxes, we're going to choose this option, deselect all, and scroll down to the service we want, Google Drive, and hit that checkbox. Notice that right below we have three options available for us. First, file formats, advanced settings for the export, and the scope of the data to be included in the export. First, let's choose the file formats. Now, this is off-center on my machine, but I believe this should be centered. But anyway, it's good to ask us what format to use for documents and so on. Now, documents, these include the documents made using Google Docs or created in other applications. So we're going to choose DOCX or PDF. I'm going to choose DOCX. For drawings, we could choose between a JPEG or a PDF. I'm going to choose PDF. For Google Forms, one format is available, zip. For Jamboard, it's going to include PDF. Presentations, we could choose PowerPoint file or a PDF file. We're going to choose PowerPoint here. Scripts, it's only have one format if you use Google Apps Script. And for spreadsheets, these include documents created with Google Sheets. It's going to export it in XLSX, an Excel spreadsheet. Or you could choose PDF. Now, for uploads, which are files that you've added through Google Drive, they'll be given to you as is. Hit OK, and there, we've set our options. Next is advanced settings. We have the option to include additional info for files and folders. These include sharing information and history and whatnot. Let's include it. What the heck? And include name, published, and uploaded versions. Now, if you're using the version control features in Google Drive, or more specifically in the Google Docs apps, like if you have multiple versions of the file, by default, it's only going to give you the latest version of the file. But if you want to include all previous versions as well, you can check this option to include it and hit OK. And finally, it's going to ask us what kind of data do we want to include. By default, everything is included. But if you only want to include one folder, you can specify it here. So now I want to export everything, so I'm going to check this option and hit OK. Wow, it's raining outside, but that won't stop us from this tutorial. Now, we're going to ignore these other options for now, but just to let you know, you can check services you want to be included, and you could use the similar technique when dealing with these options below if they are available. Now let's scroll down and hit the button that says Next Step. In the next step, Google's asking us how would you want these files to be sent to you. The option we want is send download link via email. As you can see in the drop down, we have other options to send it to Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, or Box. But we want a copy of these files on our local computer. So we want to use the first option. Then it's going to ask us how frequently do we want the export to take place. We want a one-time export, but if there's also an option for 6 exports every 2 months for a year. I'm going to choose 1 export to keep things simple. Next is the file type and size. Now obviously Google is not going to send each file individually to you, so it's going to compress them and package them up into archives. There are 2 available archive types here. We have a zip format and a tar.gz format. Zip is compatible on almost any computer, including Windows, while tar.gz is more compatible on Unix-based systems, like Linux-based systems or Mac OS. They probably have native support for TGZ files. However, if you're on Windows like me, as you can see, it says you need additional software. Now, if you need additional software, I recommend that you use 7-zip or WinRAR when dealing with tar.gz files. And this is actually the format I'm going to choose. Now, why? Why am I going to choose TGZ over zip? Now, with zip, although you can open zip files on almost any computer, the problem is you can reliably export 2 GB files to have the maximum compatibility with your applications. Because although you can create larger zip archives, larger than 2 GB, you can choose 4 or 10 or 50 gig as the cutoff. The problem with this approach is that zip files, it says here, zip files larger than 2 GB will be compressed in zip64. Older operating systems and older applications may not be able to open zip files in this format. And it says there are external applications that can be used to uncompress zip64 files. And those external applications, as I've mentioned, 7-zip and WinRAR are great examples for those of you on Windows. However, I'm not sure for those of you on Mac OS. But I'm really sure for Linux you'll be able to open these kinds of zip files with no problem. Now, this is the reason why I recommend the TGZ format. This is because you could get away with a larger cutoff. Especially, case in point, the Google Drive account that I have here has 100 gigs plus worth of files in it, so it will be unwieldy to download multiple files all at once just to be able to export my data. So this will make things a little more convenient for me in the future. So with those options created, again, these are up to you, but I will recommend a tar.gz file format and a 50 gig cutoff for splitting, so that we don't have to deal with multiple files to be downloaded. And again, it's very hard to keep track of multiple files, so that's my personal choice. We'll hit the Create Export button once we're glad with those choices, and it's going to say it's creating a copy of our files from Drive. It'll take a while, and we'll get an email once this is done. Now, I'm not going to wait for this to finish because I don't want to make an hour-long video for this tutorial. However, I'm going to use one of my exports here to show you how you can download. So to download your exports, you will be able to see it here in your Manage Your Export section. Now, these are the 2 exports that I've had. One of them failed, and the other expired because I created it a few weeks ago, or a few days ago rather. So you will be able to download it here. You'll also get an email from Google when your download is ready. Now be aware that depending on the size of your drive or your files, you may get multiple files for your download. So be sure that you have enough bandwidth, enough disk space, and most importantly, if you are on a metered connection, please be careful of your data allocation, because these file downloads are going to be large, especially if you store a lot of stuff in Google services. Okay, so that's how to export your Google Drive data, or really any Google account data, especially now that the account that I have here is going to be deactivated soon. So thanks for watching, and to my fellow graduates, congratulations, we made it this far. See you in graduation tomorrow. This has been Ardy for Tech Support by Ardy. Thanks for watching.